You know, I be hating when people be like, can't you just Photoshop that or something? I'm like, you don't even know what Photoshop do you? Huh? Let me tell you why you should be using Photoshop. Check it out. What's good? How y'all doing? How y'all feeling? I am V. I'm your host for today, and today we gonna talk about why we should use Photoshop. Yep, Photoshop. I know I give Photoshop a hard time, but there is actually a practical use for Photoshop. I'm gonna give y'all my top 5 reasons why you should use Photoshop. Number 1, Photoshop is great for touching up images, like especially for photo touch-up. That's Photoshop photo touch-up. That's what it's for. You take a picture of a model or a regular person for that matter. It don't have to be a model. That person can be a model. Shut up. Anyway, you take a picture of a person and they got some blemishes on their face or on their skin. It's easy. Photoshop has tools where you can easily get those blemishes out. Photoshop has tools where you can smooth out wrinkles and whiten teeth and get the red out of people's eyes for images. For, you know, when the flash happens, you get the red in your eye. Photoshop has tools that you can do that. And a lot of them are just one-click applications. I mean, with one click, you can remove the red out your eyes. Simple, you know, as soon as you learn the tools and all that. And I might tell y'all how to use some Photoshop tools. I just might. I doubt it though. Gotcha. Nah, for real though. So that's my number 1 reason for using Photoshop would be for photo touch-ups. Number 2 would be for what everybody knows Photoshop for, is to remove the background from an image. Now, I will give it to Photoshop. This is the only program that I know other than After Effects, which is for video, but the only program that I know where you could easily just take somebody out the background. Also, Photoshop has a tool where you can remove the foreground and fill it in with what's in the background. It's crazy. Content aware tool. Tip for you. So that's my number 2 reason for using Photoshop is, you know, removing images out the background. You know, when you start doing stuff like that, now I could put Superman in Avengers scene, take people out, put them in other places, you know, stuff like that. And that's the main reason why everybody knows Photoshop. But that's not all Photoshop is for. That brings me to number 3, merging images, right? And I was just saying, putting Superman in an Avengers scene. That's sort of what I'm talking about. The ability to take an image from one image, a part of one image, and put it in another image seamlessly, adjusting color, shadows, highlights, all that is only done in Photoshop. So when you really want to get creative and start getting crazy with your collages, Photoshop is the go-to. It's the go-to. It is. Number 4, which goes right along with number 3, is shading and highlights. So the ability to brush over an image in Photoshop with all type, they have a million brushes that you could use. So you could brush over an image with Photoshop and all of a sudden I got a gloss on my arm. You know, with this brush, I can turn the opacity down. It doesn't have to be like glaring, but you can see it. You know, these types of things, drop shadows, you know, inner glows, all type of highlights, shadows, overlays. These are the type of things that you want to use Photoshop for. Like I said before, Photoshop does a great job at these things, you know. The learning curve is not that high, but you know, you have to put some practice in, but other than that, yeah, Photoshop is that deal. Which brings me to my last point is recoloring images. You know, and this falls all into the same thing, you know, it's like a hierarchy, but recoloring images is really key, especially like when you're doing photo touch-ups and stuff like that. In Photoshop, I could take a color, select that color, and play with the hues and saturations and the minor details of, you know, colors, for lack of better words. And that Illustrator does that, but not as good as Photoshop. Yeah, I'm gonna give Photoshop the one up on that one. So those are my top 5 reasons why you should use Photoshop. If you got any questions, hit me up in the comments, hit me up in the DMs. Don't forget to hit the like, hit the subscribe. I am V, Clay Vision Designs. Hope to see y'all next time. Peace.